Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you can be alerted when new content is released. Enjoy the video.
Sooner or later, you start feeling good. You practice feeling good every day for 8 weeks, you're going to start feeling good. It's just going to be the side effect. It just makes sense. That there's one leader that everybody's following. Everybody's leading. And there's a stigma we have in our minds that if you lead with too much passion in your life, you're going to lose your life. Whether you're Martin Luther King or William Wallace or Joan of Arc or Abraham Lincoln, you're going to get it. And that stigma is branded in people's minds for a reason. But this is a time in history to not die for the truth. This is a time in history to live for the truth. And if you're working on your anger and frustration, and I'm working on my fear and anxiety and my judgment, and I'm taking care of me, and you emerge in that heart of yours, and I emerge in that heart, we are going to be like-minded. We're going to be connected by that invisible field. Now everybody's leading, and you just can't take out everybody now. So we can't wait for anybody else to take care of us. This is the fundamental time where something greater's got to grip us. Something greater. And if I see you demonstrating courage, I'm gonna jump in. Mm-hmm. And all of this craziness that's going on is an important time. But when we stop doing all those things and reacting, and we start going, hey, what do you do? Oh, you're a solar panel guy? Oh, I'm a teacher. Oh, you're a doctor? Let's get together and let's start figuring out how to coexist. Oh, you're brown, I'm white, you're black, who cares? That's the costume you're wearing to the masquerade. I celebrate your uniqueness. I'm weird too. And we're all like that. So the biggest lie is that kind of a way to create separation amongst people for the simple reason to disempower them into limitation, because now they're more dependent on pharmaceutical companies. They're more dependent on religion. They're more dependent on whatever it is that they need out there. But how can you give someone a sugar pill, a saline injection, perform some false surgery or procedure, and a certain percentage of those people will accept, believe, and surrender to the thought that they're getting an actual substance or treatment, and they begin to program their autonomic nervous system to make the exact pharmacy of chemicals equal to the substance they think they're taking. Now, is it the inert substance that's doing the healing, or is it the body's innate capacity to heal? Because that sugar pill represents, it is a symbol of possibility. And you hand that person that pill, and they begin to select a new potential in the quantum field called, this could actually work. And if the doctor's enthusiastic, it'll work better. And if you name it something they can't pronounce, it'll work even better. And if you charge a lot more money for it, it'll work even better. And you make it sound like something that it can do for you, it'll work even better. Viagra, Niagara, that's a lot of flow. It's subconscious cues. So then, in the studies on depression, in the studies on pain relief, those people were making their own pharmacy of antidepressants, their own pharmacy of morphine. They were checking the receptor sites on the outside of the cells, and their body was making morphine. So then, do you need the sugar pill? Do you need the saline injection? Do you need to perform some false surgery or procedure? Because all they're doing is marrying a clear intention with the elevated emotion of optimism, of possibility, of inspiration. They're changing their state of being. All right, so the depression studies took 8 weeks, giving the person the pill every day. Most of them thought they were getting the actual substance because they felt so much better. The brain scan showed that they were better. They were getting the placebo. They went back to the researchers and said, I'm sorry, you must have given me the real medication. No, we gave you the placebo. That's how much better they felt. It wasn't one day. They didn't take it once and say, I'm better. They took it for 6 weeks. So then people are so entitled to thinking that the moment they press on their cell phone, they get answers and information. It's not how it works. This is a practice. Every day, changing your state of being, doing it for 8 weeks without a sugar pill, just marrying a clear intention and elevated emotion, changing your state of being without any exogenous substance. Sooner or later, you start feeling good. You practice feeling good every day for 8 weeks, you're going to start feeling good. It's just going to be the side effect. It just makes sense.
Yep. The interesting thing about what's going on, and by the way, let's go. like really, like, let's go. Like that was, a call to action. And it's exactly, it really resonates with everything that I feel. And then it contrasts with what appears to be the greatest mass nocebo experiment of all time, in which everywhere you look, it's a death count. Everywhere you look, this is going to kill you. You're not safe. You're never safe. No matter what you do, it's not safe enough. Don't sing Christmas carols. Don't have more than 2 households over for Thanksgiving. Like, that's the whole point of Thanksgiving. All of this messaging that's coming across is a massive nocebo effect, which is triggering the exact opposite mechanism as the placebo effect. And we're in this world. But at the same time, it's a beautiful reflection of how much of this will we just gobble up? How much will we take before we reach out and find a community of other brothers and sisters, people willing to stand in their truth and in their sovereignty? And so when you look at this, and I alluded to this, the power of being around 1,000 people all going into the quantum together, all going into that meditation together, I felt it in the communities that I've been a part of. When we gather in any ceremony, it's even a biblical passage where 2 or 3 are gathered, the divine is sure to be present. Like, there is some amplification effect from community. And is that what you see as the way forward? You said it's going to come from all of us. How important is community in this really revolution of ideas that's going on right now?
Well, let's go back to the person who breaks through and stands on the stage that had metastatic carcinoma from breast cancer. This cancer spread throughout her entire body. All she wanted to do was be able to pray again. Her father dragged her to the event. And all she wanted to do was be able to get on her knees and pray. She's a young girl. Couldn't bend over, couldn't walk. She was in so much pain because the cancer was spread through all of her spine. One moment, she was on the stage, couldn't feel any pain in her body, sobbing in tears. I sent her for a PET scan. Not an ounce of cancer in her bones. Where did it go? I mean, what happened there? You see that person on the stage, and our community gets closer. You get people opening their heart. Love bonds. You can't not bond in love. You have to hug. You have to connect. You have to bond. It's whether you're a man hugging a man, a woman hugging a woman, a man hugging a woman. Something happens where we are connecting. And so when you see that person, the first one, stand on the stage and tell that story, just like an infection can spread amongst the community and create disease, all of a sudden, health and wellness are as infectious as disease. And I just say to my staff, get out of the way. 4 people with Raynaud's syndrome in one event, all healed. 2 people with Parkinson's, psychiatrist and another lady allergic to everything in her life. She came with a ventilator and a mask. And in the middle of the event, she's in the front of the room dancing around, no mask, no nothing. And you start seeing people freeing themselves from their own limitations. The energy in the room, it's not just the energy in the room. It's the coherence in the room. Because if your heart is coherent, and I'm sitting right next to you, and my field is coherent, and I'm interfering with your field, and those 2 fields come together, the union of those 2 fields, the interference is going to create a higher wave. Higher wave, higher energy. Now there's energy in the room for healing. Now there's energy in the room for the mystical. And the interference starts creating doors. Interference patterns of fractal geometry that are doors to dimensions. And you tell me then, you get a group of people, 1,000 people in a room. You have 50 people in the front of the room wearing a heart rate monitor. By the middle of the event, everybody is locked into their heart. They know how to execute. And I say, get in that heart of yours, and on that energy, lay the thought that the people in the front of the room, on that energy, that their lives be enriched, that their bodies be healed, that their dreams come true. And you explain to me then how all those people in the front of the room, the majority of those people go into heart coherence at the exact same time, the exact same day, and the exact same meditation. They're influencing their autonomic nervous system. The collective is entraining them into the same frequency. And what is that frequency? Love, gratitude, hopefulness for the greatest good. And so then, the collective then moves as one mind, as one heart. And the collective begins to entrain the weak the collective begins to care for the other ones that are falling behind, not because they want to run to their dream, but because they want to help people realize their dream, because that's important to them. You can't not care. You can't not be present. You can't not be kind. And you see a man show up in a wheelchair from a stroke, completely disabled. His daughter wheeled him around that whole event. And he had a profound moment the very last day. And he went back. She wheeled him into the house. He could walk. He got up in the morning. He showered for the first time in 10 years, got dressed, walked. His wife was having breakfast. He walked down to the store, to the restaurant, and asked if he could sit down and have breakfast. She went absolutely crazy. To me, I don't know, that's better than a sports car. That feeling to me is worth all the gold in the world. So we have people now that I have witnessed so many profound healings where people are healing other people because they know how to administer coherence and change the field of the person laying before them. They understand the science, the quantum physics. They understand all what they're doing and why they're doing it. And then all of a sudden, they're healing all these people in our events. Tumors disappearing, people stepping out of wheelchairs, crazy, blind people seeing, deaf people hearing, crazy stuff. This is biblical proportion stuff. And now they're doing it non-locally because they can't be together, but they understand in the quantum there's no separation. They can do it without being there. And they're not doing it. I've dropped in on these calls. They're not doing it because they want to hang a shingle on their door saying I'm a healer. In fact, they got to get beyond that in order to heal. They got to get beyond that identity. They're doing it because they're healing themselves every time they connect to love. And so, that person then, whose daughter was riddled with a brain injury from a child, that never looked at her brothers, never was present, never could talk, was still and frozen, who's now looking at her brothers and laughing and hugging them and smiling and trying to talk. We're on the call with 50 people and 2 scientists from a prestigious university, and this woman is telling the story, and everybody is sobbing. Everybody is sobbing. Why? We contribute to the living organism. You made a difference. You changed somebody's life. That's why we do it, for that feeling. You keep doing it. That's going to be a common feeling. You're going to get really sensitive to some energy, to some feeling. That's what it's about. People try to work their whole week in opening their heart at a week-long event. Comes time to heal another person. Now it's no longer about them. And they get it. They get it. All they had to do was open their heart for somebody else. That's how it opens. So then we have it backwards. That when we start regulating and feeling wholeness and love, and we practice that on a daily basis, the master goes unnoticed, walking past somebody and healing them. They don't want to be recognized. They're not doing it for recognition. They left that a long time ago. They're doing it because they want to execute. They want to know the right time, the right moment, the right second to be able to do it. So I'm proud of our community, because our community is connected. I never want this work to be about me. If it's about me, it's the wrong thing. I want it to be about them. I want them to be empowered and inspired. I'm not going to tell them what to do. I would never do that. I would rob them of their free will. I want them to be able to execute with the tools to be able to create the life they want. And as you get closer and closer to source, to singularity, to wholeness, it's no longer about you, it's about us. It's about community. And that's when we begin to emerge as something greater.